Good morning, this is Kellyanne on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
One man is behind bars this morning following gunshots in a southwestern Sioux Falls neighborhood. Authorities say it happened just after 4:30 Sunday morning in an area near 44th Street and Marion Road. Police arriving on scene found several people, including a person who was hit by a car.
Morris Smith Jr. was later arrested and charged with aggravated assault and felony hit and run. A resident who lives across the street tells Kellyanne News he heard as many as 16 shots fired in multiple exchanges. However, police say no victims were struck by gunfire. A driver is facing charges following a pursuit in Sioux Falls. The South Dakota Department of Public Safety says the pursuit started just before 10:30 Saturday night at the Cliff Avenue exit on Interstate 229.
Authorities say a trooper tried to pull over a car on 41st in Minnesota, but the driver wouldn't stop. The pursuit continued on East 41st Street and ended when the vehicle struck a curb. The Highway Patrol says charges are pending against the driver, 25-year-old Alexander Vohoyo of Sioux Falls, who was treated at a hospital for minor injuries. One person is out of their home this morning following a weekend fire in Mission. Officials say it happened around 2:15 Sunday afternoon, a block east of the post office. Crews arriving on scene found smoke coming from the roof of the home.
Firefighters went inside and found flames in the attic. Crews were able to stop the fire from spreading to the rest of the home. The resident is being helped by the American Red Cross. No injuries were reported. Multiple agencies were called to rescue a person camping in Wind Cave Park over the weekend. Custer County Search and Rescue say they were called to an area south of Rankin Ridge Trailhead just after noon on Saturday. A Wind Cave ranger arrived on scene first and started treating the person for hypothermia.
Meanwhile, a plow was called in to clear a road to a parking lot. Search and Rescue was then able to use UTVs to get to the campsite and take the camper to an ambulance.
Now let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Scott Monk. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, everybody. We are following light snow showers, call them light snow showers, in northeastern, eastern South Dakota, stretching into western Minnesota for this morning. We'll watch redeveloping snow in western Kettleland later this afternoon, evening, and tonight. Temperatures will remain steady. Many locations already in the 20s and 30s. I think we'll stay there throughout the day today with mostly cloudy skies. More details on your forecast with Brian coming up.
Thank you, Scott. In Pennington County, Sheriff Brian Mueller says things are going well during his first few months in his new role.
Mueller was officially sworn in as sheriff on January 3rd of this year. He says since then he's had plenty of meetings and lots of paperwork and is looking forward to getting out in the community.
Just feeling really good about things, the way that they're going, the trajectory and the support that we're continuing to get from our community. It's really fun. It's very fulfilling to be part of, and I'm happy to be here serving the citizens of Pennington County.
Sheriff Mueller says he has some big projects in the future, including the new crisis stabilization unit and addressing the drug problem and recent violence in Rapid City and Pennington County. The Summit League tournament at the Premier Center in Sioux Falls is entering its fourth day today, and a lot of fans have made their way from all over to watch the action.
Brett Nielsen from Wakanda has attended the tournament every year since it came to Sioux Falls. He's seen it evolve from a move from Sioux Falls Arena to the Premier Center.
It's probably one of the best places you can actually do it in South Dakota. I mean, the arena, like I said, the atmosphere. We'll give the Bunny fans a little bit of credit. They probably hold a little bit more, but the Coyotes are still coming on strong. There's a lot more red in the sea over the years. Absolutely fantastic.
USD women lost to Oral Roberts 92-69 on Sunday, while NDSU outlasted the Coyote men 70-68.
That means SDSU will meet NDSU in the men's semifinals. The second-seeded Jacks defeated Omaha in the quarterfinals 63-55.
The SDSU defense limited the Mavericks to 19% shooting in the second half as the Jackrabbits earned their 8th win in 9 games. SDSU split its 2 meetings during the regular season with NDSU. The two teams tip off at the Premier Center at 8:30 tonight.
Meanwhile, the SDSU women, the top seed in the women's tournament, are set to take on the 5-seed Oral Roberts in the semifinals this afternoon. The Jacks defeated St. Thomas 87-59 in the quarters. It was their 19th straight win.
SDSU has held opponents below 60 points in 9 of their last 10 games. In 2 games against Oral Roberts during the regular season, Jacks earned a 3-point win in the conference opener and a 25-point win in the regular season finale. Tip-off is set for 12:30.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather today. Well, we're kind of wrapping up some of the headlines for northeast and north central South Dakota, but digging out from the snowfall the past 24 hours, Aberdeen is over 4 inches, and obviously these roads are not in the greatest of shape. Even outside of the advisory areas, we've got plenty of slick conditions farther south towards Sioux Falls and east into Minnesota. Now, new winter weather advisories take shape for western Ketherland as we start to watch the new snow returns building after 2 o'clock today, Rapid City, and there'll be more of that building tonight. It looks like the vast majority of that will stay west of Sioux Falls tomorrow. Probably looking at Pierre picking up at least some chances of snow, obviously growing into Tuesday afternoon. But again, the story headline kind of pertains to that area of Ketherland, the central, the north central, into the west. Now, move things forward into Wednesday, a little bit more of that footprint expanding, and I would say Wednesday's kind of an introductory day to snow in Sioux Falls. And we're going to pick up the pacing into Thursday as the main system pulls out of the Rockies, and certainly there'll be more snow to add as the active pattern continues. Are any one of these pieces bigger than the others? Probably Thursday would be the biggest as we kind of watch that main low pulling out of the west. And I would phrase this right now as plowable snow. It's March. This is kind of heavy, wet stuff that we've got to deal with. And again, there'll be more refinements to these forecasts as we go along. But I feel that's pretty safe to say at this point. There's another system coming on its heels here starting this weekend. A little early on the verdict of that. But again, given the time of year and the parameters, there's some extra volatility with all of these things. So stay up on the weather. Let me give you just a bird's eye view of the timeline on this pattern. So we look at the snowfall. This started last night. So, you know, Aberdeen, yeah, you're already digging out some of that 2 to 4 there. You've had some of that also in the west, but you're going to add more. So, you know, we come up with easily totals there, 4 to 7 in Faith. You had quite a bit yesterday. And Sioux Falls on the other end of that, not much yet to add, but let's give this a little time. Wednesday, we start to expand. Friday, see that? By Friday morning, now we're talking numbers that are heavier. In fact, they'll keep growing if we get any more snow this weekend. So you see how we come up with a weekly timeline. Look at the U.S. model. It's even more. And even the Canadian is pretty hefty. So those are, again, not all at once totals. These are piece by piece by piece. So I'm trying to give you an idea that you're going to have to take your snowblower out and probably move this in several different chunks. Obviously, more snow for Terry Peak. Yeah, it's going to be a busy week here in the Black Hills, too. Let's wrap it up with forecast details. Temperatures are slipping a little bit. The jury's still out on how the installments of cold will go, but you have to remember now, normal highs are getting closer to 40. Or above in the extended forecast. So if we're only near 30 or below, we're still 10 to 20 degrees off the averages. Aberdeen will run the same route on that, and a lot of chances of snow. It kind of starts up again tomorrow, maybe west of Aberdeen, and then Wednesday's a little better shot. Thursday, a better shot. Could linger Friday, and then, yeah, if we get another piece of that next system for the weekend, it all adds up over time, and that's the thinking for Pier 2. A good chance of snow Thursday. I would certainly highlight for all of our viewers, especially too for the Black Hills, and then we'll see how, days 5, 6, and 7 start to go. Stay tuned. More details at ketherland.com.